Hi, I'm Clarise Starling, and you're my severance package, and welcome to the August 2019 Record Ramble. Now, before we get started, in the description and at the end of the video there'll be a link to a Spotify playlist with one choice song from every album spoken about in this video in chronological order, so that in one place there's all the songs that you might want to listen to if you're interested in anything I've spoken about today. So check that out. But enough preamble, let's get right into it. The first thing I bought this month was from the same seller, Sebadoh 3. I'm collecting Dinosaur Jr. on vinyl, so I thought I might as well collect Sebadoh on cassette, make that rivalry between Luke Barlow and Jay Mascis all the more present. I've got the Freedman already, of the Homestead release, and this is also Homestead. It's great, like, experimental, folk alternative kind of 90s lo-fi 4-track recording with a lot more hardcore influence in it, so it's a good mix. And the second one I got was The Cure, Head on the Door. Got this mostly because it has Close to Me on it, but it's also got Kyoto Song, you know, more synth-based, claustrophobic Cure than the old gothic stuff. One of the most important things to happen to me recently is going to see Mount Eerie in concert. Phil Elverum is one of the most influential people on my life at all in general, and that mostly started with this album, The Glow Part 2. It's one of, I can say this very solidly, that it's one of my favourite albums of all time. And why I didn't own it already, you might ask? It's because I was waiting to get this version specifically. This is the 3 LP version with all of the bonus tracks and acoustic versions of other songs and lots of other really nice, like, goodies outside of the album. It's the old K Records press as well. Really lovely. But also from the same seller and on the same lines, I got No Flashlight. Lovely white vinyl version. But you might ask, where's the sleeve? Well, instead of a sleeve, it's got this poster. On one side, there's a beautiful tapestry of Phil art of him standing and looking around. And on the other, fantastic information about the influence, lyrics, and source poetry for every song on the album. Really beautiful collage. But alongside that, I also got this tiny little songbook from 2005. It was a limited, like, release thing where if you bought this album back in 05, then you got the songbook with it, and it's a tiny handmade book of songs. I was 6 years old when this came out. Now, let's play a game. And this game is called Where's Ty? Can you see him? Can you see him? Ooh. There he is! Ah! This is the 2019 solo record from garage rocker Ty Segall. It's the first record he's done in a very long while with no guitars on it, and you can't really tell the difference. It's the most T-Rex album we've had off Ty since the T-Rex album. Loads of really great, like, more closeted glam rock, and especially after Freedom's Goblin, which was so extroverted it kind of hurt. It's really nice to see him strip it down a little bit more. So this month I went away with my family, and just before that I returned to my hometown in southeast London and went to the record store where the first record I ever got came from, and the first record I ever bought myself came from. And sorry guys, it's such a bad coincidence that we both happen to have something called Cassette Corner, but I hope you don't mind that I stole a photo of this. Now in this Cassette Corner I found this, the cassette single of Beck's Loser, the slacker anthem of the 90s. And so, of course, for the low cost of 50p, why wouldn't I get it? So outside of such outdated music mediums as vinyl and cassette, I also like to collect music VHS tapes. And the first one I got was Starsailor Love Is Here Live. It's a great mid-2000s indie rock alternative band, so might as well have a VHS of them live. Second one I got, Trigger Happy TV, Best of Season 1. This isn't music, but the intro sequence is just directly lifted from 3 Girl Roomba by Wire, so I thought, after last month, might as well include this. Third is This Is Spinal Tap. Again, this isn't music, but if you know Spinal Tap, then it counts, it's here. Because the store is called Record and Video Exchange, of course, you see me buy cassettes, you see me buy videos, and now a DVD. This is the First Days of Spring, Noah and the Whales CD DVD book thing. You might think Nora and the Whale is like a ukulele pop folk indie band from the mid-2000s, but this album especially has been there many times in my life when I needed it most. This is an album about Charlie Fink and Laura Marling breaking up, and so what did they decide to do? Make a film of it, and guess who wrote and directed that film? Charlie Fink. So it's a real whiny heartthrobs sort of album, all about coming to terms with someone leaving you, leaving your band, and no longer having a female backing singer. So it really affected me when I needed it, and I thought I might as well watch the embarrassing indie film of it. Believe it or not, I did actually buy a record from this record store. Citizen Everybody's Going to Heaven. It's a very sort of pop-punk, post-hardcore kind of album. The vocals are brand new with the guitars of sorority noise kind of thing. On peach cream vinyl. It isn't the kind of album I'd usually go out of my way to pick up, but a mate of mine sent this to me when we were both 16 on a USB stick, and I thought, in honor of you, Harry, I'll pick it up.
Makes sense to her.
Yeah. So the aforementioned family holiday. In York, in a tiny back street, there's a small record store called Earworm Records, which is incidentally where I picked up my first Microphones album ever, Mount Eerie. And when I went this year, I picked up Lou Barlow, Brace the Wave, which is a emo folk album by the Dinosaur Jr. bassist Lou Barlow. Very pleasant, plodding, emo acoustics kind of thing. You know, it's Lou Barlow moaning in a microphone with a mandolin and a 4-string guitar and a ukulele, that kind of thing. Really nice to listen to. Nothing too out there. And I also picked up Sonic Youth Dirty Boots EP. This was there when I went last year, so I thought, you've been a good boy, I'll finally bring you home. Dirty Boots is my favourite track off of Goo, so I thought an EP based around that single and 4 live tracks, including Dirty Boots and Eric Tripp, it's worth the rather extortionate amount for what it is, so I decided to pick that up. And from one cassette corner to another. Brum, brum. One of the biggest influences on Wire in the early 70s was Brian Eno's contributions to Roxy music. So when I saw this, Roxy Music Avalon, for £1, I thought, excellent, finally, I'm up there with the big brains. Turns out, it's saying Roxy Music 3 times on the cassette doesn't mean it's their first album. This is in fact a mid to late 80s Roxy Music album, which means it's just Brian Ferry moaning over synths. No Brian Eno to be seen, no Wire influence to be seen, but I own it now. Earlier in the video I mentioned going to see Mount Eerie live, and it was a really important gig to my heart. Phil Elverum means so darn much to me, and his music is always so close to me. And seeing him perform an entire new album's worth of music was really fascinating and endearing and lovely. But our train was delayed and we missed the merch table, which means I had to go online and order all of his albums after the fact, and then had to pay customs shipping. So these albums actually arrived this morning, and before I had time to even get the rest of them out, I'd already started playing side A of the first one. And the albums I picked up were Crow Looked at Me and Now Only, as well as the live album After. These are all really lovely cardstock gatefolds, and the After has the gold foil on the front and back, really pristine editions of albums that all mean a damn lot to me. I always say that Phil Elverum had like 4 albums that each individually have changed my life in a certain way, and Mount Eerie, The Glow Part 2, and A Crow Looked to Me are all in that set. It's really rare for someone to make so much music and so much art that touches me of its own right, like individually, one by one. And then I noticed something when I got Now Only out. You see right here, there's a picture of 3 people. And I thought, hey, that looks like The Beat Happening. So what did I do? Got out my old copy of The Beat Happening, turned it round. Have a look at that. It's the photograph. How pleasant. I was listening to this just before filming, so if you see a tear in the corner of my eye, it's because I really want to give Phil a hug. As I said earlier in the episode, there's a link in the description to a playlist, or you can scan this right now with your phone and get sent directly to the Spotify playlist, where each of these albums has one song represented. Anything catches your eye, give it a ear, give it an ear, give it a listen. Thanks for watching. I've been Clarise Starling. Hope you have a good.
Give it a leer.
Give it a ear. We'll keep that in.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I plan on making one of these a month. Be sure to watch them all. Anyways, see you